Charles II became King of Britain in 1660. He succeeded the English Council of State that was led by Oliver Cromwell after he took over following Charles I's execution. Charles II reigned until his death in 1685, but he had reigned as King of Scotland from 1649 till 1651. For most, possibly due to the infamous Horrible History song, Charles II is recognised as the party king. But was Charles II a good king? His friendliness and festivus personality has preceded his abilities as a monarch, which is quite interesting, especially considering how his father left Britain before his death, losing his monarchy following 2 civil wars. Before his kingship, Charles II had already fathered many illegitimate children. This shows a careless attitude, although resonates with his firm personality. Lord Protector Oliver Cromwell died in 1658, and Charles seemed to have a slim chance of coming to power, but he was proclaimed king after promising to cooperate with Parliament and promising lenience and tolerance, especially to enemies of the Royalists. Shortly after his English coronation, Charles named his parliament the Cavalier Parliament and attempted to secure Anglican dominance, and so the Restoration began. Charles's reign compared greatly to the previous leadership of Oliver Cromwell. Through reopening theatres and inns that Cromwell had previously closed, Charles seemed a restorer. During his reign, Charles had dealt with the deaths of up to 7,000 people a week during the Great Plague of London. Luckily, this only lasted for just about a year. Charles fled London to Salisbury. As well as this, the Great Fire of London in 1666 destroyed 13,200 houses and 87 churches. Charles showed his bravery by joining the firefighting effort along with his brother James. In 1661, Charles marries Catherine of Braganza. This happened after a long negotiation due to Portugal and Spain being at war. England acquired a port in North Africa and the 7 islands of Bombay in India, which had a major influence on the start of the British Empire. The marriage alliance also allowed for valuable trading privileges across the globe. Charles and his Cavalier Parliament grew conflicted during the 1670s, partly due to Charles's controversial religious policies on Catholicism, as well as the fact that Catherine hadn't yet born an heir, causing tension of his unliked brother becoming king next. Charles was a man of science and supported scientific endeavours across his reign, founding the Mathematics School at Christ's Hospital in 1673, as well as the Royal Observatory at Greenwich. In his later life, he spent a lot of time experimenting in his laboratory, trying to develop a cure for his gout. He also took a great interest in naval affairs and became a brilliant naval architect. Charles II died in 1685 from an apoplectic fit at the age of 54, but many people speculated that he was poisoned due to the suddenness of the death. However, he had been experimenting with mercury in his laboratory in his later years, so mercury poisoning could also be a possibility. Charles died without a legitimate heir, but had acknowledged at least 12 of his bastards from 7 mistresses. Therefore, his brother James succeeded him as king. Charles II was regarded by his subjects in varied ways. Whilst his attitudes of friendliness and affability made him seem like a kind man, especially in comparison to Cromwell's leadership, his restoration was well regarded, but his reign had many difficulties, especially financially and politically. His abilities as a monarch has been overshadowed by his ability to party, drink, and sleep with different women. Whether this is because of his succession from the boring leader that was Oliver Cromwell, or from that Horrible History song that became a cult classic for a certain generation. Overall, I would say that Charles II was a decent ruler. He restored Britain from the Lord Protector Oliver Cromwell and his boring rules. As well as this, he had to deal with multiple disastrous events such as the Great Plague of London and the Great Fire of London. His skills as a naval architect and scientific innovator showed his intelligence, and his fun attitude was refreshing for his subjects. Finally, I'd like to thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I've been really enjoying making these history videos, so if you want more, subscribe and like. Also, let me know in the comments if you think Charles II was a good ruler. As well as that, check out the Horrible History song, it's an all-time classic.